My name's Miro, and I'm the sort of creative graphic design element of the brand Cult Collective.
Hi, my name is William, the other half of Cult Collective. Well, there's actually three of us. Tiana, who can't be here today, and yeah, that's me.
What is Cult Collective? You know what we're still figuring out Cult Collective.
Yeah.
And we're happy with what we've done so far, but it is evolving, and we eventually, what we want to become is sort of an alternate brand, something that you're not going to find mass marketed or it doesn't have mass appeal, something that doesn't really change with trends or by years. We want it to be quite a sort of a timeless sort of brand where you can wear the items of clothing 3-4 years down the line, but to get to that stage we still got a lot of sort of tuning to do, and we still finding our feet as a brand. I think, like, if you look at most brands, it only really cements in after 4-5 years.
5 years.
So in the moment we're still experimenting, we're still defining it. So
Sorry to go. The question for me is why, and in order to define Cult Collective, why having started Cult Collective, the reason behind it, is the fact for me, I find that fashion as it stands doesn't make sense anymore. Right? Every 6 months there's tons of products, trends change constantly, but they're not reflecting what's going on in the street. So we wanted to sort of reflect more people's lives in the sense of things that it doesn't move at that pace. It's not every 6 months you rehaul your whole wardrobe and you change everything in it.
So it's a more personal adaptation of fashion.
Exactly, and it moves
to the individual rather than the individual adapting to the marketplace.
Yes. Yeah, that's exactly.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I think this fast fashion machine, it's something is going to give at some point, and we're not the only one on the market studying this mix of high fashion and street and the realness of street, for lack of a better word, the authenticity of streetwear is. There's a few brands I read on a blog, and it explained, it pretty much kind of explained a little bit where we're going, and I think it's something that's new on the market and will probably be, people realize that in a few years. It's highly and well made streetwear, what I would say like bomber jacket. It's a t-shirt. Why not put work in the t-shirt and sort of put the work in the graphic that you put on it, put the work in not short-change people just because it's something that you wear every day, that it has to be, quickly made, slapped on. So that's what we wanted to do, to improve that side and to give people something that's really real and adaptable to their day-to-day.
Myself and William actually used to party together back in 1998. So it was
the rave years.
The height of the rave years. And then, there was a 10-year gap, and we just so happened to be in Joburg again together, and we met at another party. And from there, we just we became friends again. And I had left a previous job, and I was looking for something to do. William was also looking for something to do at that stage, so we joined forces, and the rest is history, basically. Yeah.
For me, he was perfect to meet somebody who was very much into street culture, subcultures, and anything that's sort of youth orientated or that's kind of interesting, like punk,
alternative.
Yeah. I was working with the more high fashion couture thing, and it just got a bit, I'm not going to say boring, but I wanted to add something, and my gut feeling was I wanted to work with streetwear.
Yeah.
So that's how we started with Cult Collective. So we sort of mix the fashion aspect and the subculture, the realness of the street. When we approach each season, we call them seasons, we start with a theme. It can be, I mean, we've had aliens, we've had primitive paintings, we've had Catholic, what was it, the sort of religious icons, iconography.
Yeah.
It's zeitgeist. At the same time, it's things that are relevant to the now.
The thing about me and William is we definitely go at our own pace, and the good thing is we trust each other's judgments, and I think that's like, instead of talking about the downfalls, I rather talk about what's good about us in terms of we connect creativity.
Creatively.
Yeah.
It's not, but it's very interesting. It's almost like a marriage. He's like my work husband.
Yes.
Where, I trust his judgment, and that's the most important thing. Is the fact that his taste is his taste, my taste is mine, and we're not the same, and we find the middle ground. And sometimes there's that tension which create Cult Collective. That's what makes it interesting for a lot of people when they go through the work. They can't quite pinpoint or reference that because it's two different people with different interests and cultures, but we mesh it together. It's a mash, which then makes the work interesting.
Yeah. At the end, we do want to become an international brand. I mean, that is our dream. International.
To being able to be available worldwide. Which the internet has made it easier. It's different times that we live in. I mean, to spread your brand identity, your style, your creativity. It's we have guys that wear our stuff in Paris, in London, and where's the furthest we have? Do we have anybody in Australia?
No, someone phoned from Australia the other day, but yeah.
So it has allowed us, the digital world, to kind of spread ourselves worldwide, but you then have to do it in a more consistent way by finding outlets and stores and the industry side of things.
We have had to what we have done in recently is we've taken it down a notch. So we were very busy on trying to get international orders, and I think at the moment we're taking a breath out and just concentrating on getting the next range out and making sure that we have good sales in South Africa.
But the response is very positive. Funny enough, when we travel, we travel once, twice a year and take the lookbooks, the samples and everything else, and people love the work and they're absolutely excited that it's a brand that's coming from South Africa.
So it's reassuring.
It's great to see that there's a market out there that loves what we do. But you have to kind of, I think Miro and I are old enough to know that you have to build your base and build it as not just fashion fluff and hype, but also as a business. So that's where we, like you said, we take a step back. We make sure that we give something that's consistently good and a good quality product. And for that you need to find the manufacturers, the right fabric, and everything else that goes with it.
Yeah.